we present to you an act wherein we will depict the struggle, sacrifice, bravery, and love towards the nation upheld by our Indian soldiers.
In history, the Kargil War is remembered as the 1999 tragedy. The conflict was triggered by the infiltration of Pakistani troops disguised as Kashmiri militants into de facto border between the countries. The Kargil War was fought between India and Pakistan from May to June 1999. Here we present to you a few stories of the unsung heroes of the Kargil War tragedy. Chapter 1, Early Life Struggles of the Warriors. Scene 1, Gunjan Saxena. An ambitious Gunjan Saxena eyes becoming the pilot after being drawn by the idea of life of cockpit. Despite facing many reservations and many obstacles, she fulfills her dreams and serves the country in the Kargil War. Gunjan Saxena was born in an army family. She graduated in science with a degree in physics from the University of Delhi. She was also interested in singing and dancing and would perform on the stage in her school days. She was lucky and blessed to have so many firsts to her name in her years of IAF. To list a few, she was the first in her basic training and also in her helicopter training, the first woman to fly in a combat zone, the first BG among women helicopter pilots, and the first woman officer to undergo the jungle and snow survival course. So now, let's look at her early life struggles.
Gunjan Saxena and her brother are playing in the living room. Gunjan Saxena is with a kitchen set, whereas her brother is playing with a gun and an airplane. Her brother comes to Gunjan and starts teasing her using the airplane. Gunjan gets angry and snatches the plane from her brother's hand. She then starts playing with it happily. The entire scene is witnessed by her mother. She comes to Gunjan furiously and slaps her. She snatches the airplane from Gunjan, then hands it over to her brother and shows some love to him. Gunjan notices an advertisement in a newspaper to become a pilot. She has completed her 12th with a massive percentage of 98, and now she takes the newspaper to her father. Her father is busy reading a book. He keeps the book aside and takes the newspaper into his hands and looks at the advertisement. On seeing the advertisement, he gets confused while Gunjan requests him to permit her to join in the Air Force and become a pilot. But the father doesn't agree, and Gunjan requests her father further. The father keeps the newspaper aside and tells no again. Gunjan goes back crying. Then the father takes a newspaper in his hand and starts thinking. Then a father comes to Gunjan and takes her to the Air Force personnel. The father introduces her to the Air Force personnel and requests him to train her, and then expresses his gratitude and leaves.
Chapter 1, Scene 2, Vikram Batra. Vikram Batra, a young man of dreams of becoming a soldier, soon after training climbs the military ranks and contributes to India's victory in the Kargil War. Vikram Batra was born in a small town in Palampur, Himachal Pradesh. He was the third child of his parents. As a young child, Batra received his primary education under the tutorials of his mother. Being qualified for the CE certificate in the NCE, he attained the rank of senior under officer in the NCE unit. Mr. Batra joined the Indian Army at Dehradun in 1996 in the Manekshaw Battalion and marched towards the Kargil War. Vikram Batra was awarded the Param Veer Chakra, India's highest military honor, on the 15th of August 1999, the 52nd anniversary of Indian independence. Captain Vikram Batra displayed the most conspicuous persona, bravery and leadership of the highest order in the face of the enemy and made the supreme sacrifice in the highest tradition of the Indian Army.
Vikram Batra and his friend goes to the shopkeeper in the army canteen. His friend approaches the shopkeeper and asks him to make a call. The shopkeeper refuses him. Vikram Batra then taps on the table to get the shopkeeper's attention and asks him to make a call. The shopkeeper gets angry and irritated. He pushes Vikram away and then Vikram says, इस शक्ल को याद रखना, जब फौजी बनकर आऊंगा ना तो आप ही पहला बंदा रहोगे मुझे सल्यूट करने के लिए. And then Vikram and his friend leave the place disappointed.
Chapter 1, Scene 3, Naveen Nagappa. The story of Captain Naveen Nagappa is one of the most courageous, glorious and miraculous one. Right from his college days, he had a special lure towards the army uniform, and his senior captain Vikram Batra had always been his role model. Despite going through severe mental and physical turmoil, Captain Naveen Nagappa is still onto his mission of protecting the country and presently serves as an engineer for the Defence Force. He was awarded the medal for his gallant services. So now, let's have a glimpse of the early stages of the glorious life of Captain Naveen Nagappa.
Naveen Nagappa had undergone only 6 months of training. Despite this, he decides to go to the Governor General and requests him to allow him to go for the Kargil War along with his troops. The general refuses him to go there. Naveen Nagappa again requests him to go to the war and fight for his nation. The general later says, Nagappa will be allowed to go only if you are able to convince the other 120 soldiers out there. Naveen Nagappa accepts the request and leaves the place, and he is able to convince the 120 soldiers and enjoys his first victory.
Chapter 2, Kargil War, the Day of Darkness. The entire world could see that India was in the right place and Pakistan was in the wrong. Talking about the ground situation, Pakistan was in an advantageous position as they were in a higher ground on the mountains of Dras region, which is exceptionally cold, which makes it all the more difficult for the soldiers to fight.
There is a popular saying in the Indian army, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. The heavy firing lasted for 4 hours, spending more than 10,000 shells and more than 120 artillery guns. There was so much firing that later this region was named as Barbad Bunker. The soldiers were divided into 2 groups. One group was under the command of Lieutenant Sanjay Singh Jamwal, and the second group was under the command of Lieutenant Vikram Batra, whose code name was Sher Shah. So the soldiers were asked to choose their success signals. Lieutenant Sanjay chose, oh, ye. And Lieutenant Vikram Batra chose, ye dil mange more. In the early hours of 20th June, both the groups started climbing the tree and were successful in their mission and gave their success signals to the radio command. There was no casualties. Lieutenant Vikram Batra was promoted to the rank of captain because of this successful mission. A 19-year-old Yogendra Singh Yadav. Chapter 2, Scene 1. Yogendra Singh Yadav was a retired commissioned officer in the Indian Army who was awarded the highest Indian military honor decoration, the Paramveer Chakra, for his action in the Kargil War. Aged 19 when he received the decoration, he is the youngest person to be awarded this medal. Yadav enlisted with 18 grenadiers and part of the Ghatak Force Commando Platoon. His task was to capture 3 strategic bunkers on Tiger Hill in the early morning hours of 4th July 1999. Yadav volunteered to lead the assault. He climbed the cliff face and installed ropes that would allow further assaults on the feature. Half the way up, machine gun and rocket fires came from the enemy bunker, killing the platoon commander and 2 others. In spite of being hit by 16 bullets on his shoulder, Yadav climbed the remaining 60 feet and reached the top. Though severely injured, he crawled to the first bunker and lobbed a grenade, killing 4 Pakistani soldiers and neutralizing the enemy fire. This gave the rest of the platoon the opportunity to climb up the cliff. The platoon subsequently succeeded in capturing the Tiger Hill. Yadav, who was hit by 16 bullets, played a major role in this capture and sacrificed his life for the nation. Paramveer Chakra was announced for Yadav posthumously.
सरसों से भरे खलियान मेरे जहां झूम के भंगड़ा पा न सका आबाद रहे वो.
Chapter 2, Scene 2, Gunjan Saxena. The higher officials wouldn't allow Gunjan to join the Kargil war. She enters and salutes him. She asks the officer to let her go to the war, but the officer denies. She requests further, but the officer still denies. Then Gunjan expresses her anger.
अब से मैं तुझसे कुछ न कहूँगी।
लड़ना चाहती हूँ सर। सर प्लीज सर, मैं भी कारगिल में जाके लड़ना चाहती हूँ सर। हाँ सर, पागल हो गई हूँ मैं सर। सर मैं तो पहले से ही पागल हूँ ना, कि मैंने ये सोचा कि अगर मेहनत करके एक अच्छी पायलट बन गई तो इस यूनिट का हिस्सा बन जाऊंगी। सर सिर्फ मैं ही नहीं, मेरे पापा भी पागल है सर। बचपन से ये कहते आ रहे हैं कि कॉकपिट में चाहे लड़का बैठे या लड़की, दोनों पायलट कहलाते हैं सर। सर उन्हें थोड़ी पता था कि मुझे यहाँ के आपसे पंजा लड़ना पड़ेगा अपने आप को साबित करने के लिए। सर कुश्ती थोड़ी लड़ने आई हूँ सर, प्लेन उड़ाना है मुझे, उठाना नहीं है सर। सर नहीं सर, आज आप सुन लो सर, मुझे ना पता चल गया कि आपकी प्रॉब्लम क्या है सर। सर प्रॉब्लम मेरी कमजोरी बिल्कुल नहीं है सर, प्रॉब्लम आपका डर है। आप डर गए हो कि ये मैडम कहीं सर ना बन जाए, वरना आपको सल्यूट करना पड़ेगा और इससे तो आपकी मर्दानगी खत्म हो जाएगी ना सर। सर मुझे इज्जत देने से आपकी इज्जत बिल्कुल कम नहीं होगी सर, आई प्रॉमिस। छोड़िए सर आपकी ये सोच, आपका ये डर और आपकी नकली मर्दानगी। आपको मुबारक हो सर। जय हिंद सर।
Chapter 2, Scene 3. Kashmir is a beautiful region that resides in an extremely mountainous area, containing some of the highest peaks in the world. Unfortunately, this amazing land has remained a constant battleground between the two countries of India and Pakistan. The Kargil War had become an unforgettable event in the history of India. Nevertheless, this was an event that brought about feelings of patriotism in the hearts of every Indian like never before. The brave struggle of the Indian soldiers will continue to be an inspiration for all the citizens of this country. So let's look. The day of Kargil War, the day of darkness.
रग रग में जोश की बूंदे, बूंदों में जीत ही गूंजे, इस गूंज से गिर जाएगा आसमान भी कदमों में।
Vikram Batra motivating his troops. बहुत तैयार, करोगे वार, एक अपना, फौज का, जीत अपनी, दुश्मन की हार, दुर्गे माता की जय, दुर्गे माता की जय। Position.
रुको न आंखों के निशानों का,
Alert.
आग जैसे बरसा दे ये इरादे। जिगरा है, जिगरा है, जिगरा है, जिगरा है, जिगरे से निकलेंगी चिंगारियां। वो जिगरा है, जिगरा है, जिगरा है, जिगरा है, जिगरे से
ये तेरी रोहिला टंडन।
चिंगारियां।
अल्लाह, डरना नहीं अल्लाह, मैं आ गया हूँ, इसे जल्दी से रीटर्न लेकर जाओ। अन्ना, मैं लड़ूंगा अन्ना, मैं लड़ूंगा, आई फाइट सर, आई फाइट। नहीं अन्ना, ये फाइट करने का समय नहीं है, इसे जल्दी से लेकर नीचे जाओ।
तन्हा मेरे बाद में नैना अश्क न हो माना कल से हो।
यहाँ तो तिरंगा मैं लिपट कर आऊंगा, यहाँ तो तिरंगा लहरा कर आऊंगा, लेकिन आऊंगा तो जरूर।
मैं न लौटा आने वाले साल जो मेरी बल्कि बोले मेरा हाल तो नैना
Everyone stand up and salute the Indian flag.
मैं हूँ मजबूर नैना अश्क न हो, नैना अश्क न हो। बीते
ਮੈਥੋਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਭਰਿਆ ਬਦਲ ਗਿਆ ਸਾਰਾ ਵੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਜਾਣਾ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੇਰੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਏ ਯਾਰਾ ਵੇ ਮੈਥੋਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਭਰਿਆ ਮਨ ਭਰਿਆ ਬਦਲ ਗਿਆ ਸਾਰਾ ਵੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਜਾਣਾ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੇਰੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਏ ਯਾਰਾ ਗੱਲ ਗੱਲ ਤੇ ਸ਼ੱਕ ਕਰਦਾ ਐਤਬਾਰ ਜ਼ਰਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਤੇਰੀਆਂ ਅੱਖੀਆਂ 'ਚ ਮੇਰੇ ਲਈ ਪਿਆਰ ਜ਼ਰਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਿਨ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਸਹਾਰਾ ਵੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਜਾਣਾ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੇਰੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਏ ਯਾਰਾ
तिरंगा लहरा कर आऊंगा यहाँ तो उस पर लिपट के आऊंगा लेकिन आऊंगा तो जरूर
ਕਾਸ਼ ਐਸਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਦੇ ਪੈਰੀ ਪੈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਤੇਰੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਜਾਨੀ ਮੌਤ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਜੋ ਤੂੰ ਨਾ ਮਿਲਾ मानेंगे वो दहलीज नहीं होती रब नाम की यार यहाँ कोई चीज नहीं होती और रब ਛੱਡ ਜਾਣਾ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੇਰੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਏ ਯਾਰਾ ਤੂੰ ਸਭ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਏ ਮੈਂ ਛੱਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਤਾਂ ਉਂਗਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਨਚਾਉਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤੂੰ ਸਭ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਏ ਮੈਂ ਛੱਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਤੇਰੀ ਯਾਦ ਨੇ ਉਂਗਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਨਚਾਉਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਅਗਲੇ ਜਨਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਲਾ ਐਸਾ ਖੇਲ ਰਚਾ ਕੇ ਭੇਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤੂੰ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਭੇਜੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਭੇਜੇ ਹਾਏ ਕੋ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਐਵੇਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਤੂੰ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਨੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੇ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਵੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਜਾਣਾ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੇਰੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਏ ਯਾਰਾ
एक तेरा नाम है साचा हो एक तेरा नाम है साचा मन मेरी आने पाचा बस नाम तेरा माँ हो एक पहचान मेरी तू ही जिंद चांद मेरी तू ही जहान मेरा माँ
तुझ पे वार ना 100 वारी जान मैं तुझ पे वार ना 100 वारी जान मैं तेरे कुर्बान मेरी माँ वंदे
That performance deserves nothing but a thunderous round of applause. Come on, everybody, put your hands together. That performance clearly depicted the struggles undergone by few brave warriors so that all others could remain fearless. Thank you everybody for such an amazing performance. I request everybody, all the participants to come on the dais once.
Well, good evening, students. First of all, I should congratulate all of you for being here. And it's a great honor for all of us to witness such a very good act by the students of Sikasa Bangalore. I think one more round of applause for all of them. So all of us here are here, many of them are left. Who are unfortunate, I should say, to at least meet the person sitting here who has fought the war live. We only witnessed that, but he has experienced that. And all of us are sitting here so relaxed and calm, or with all of the luxury, that is because of people like him. Thousands of soldiers who are guarding our borders day in and day out. A big round of applause to all the soldiers. I should also thank the chairperson of Sikasa, Kavita, for organizing this. In fact, we have stopped the cultural events in students program almost some 8 to 10 years back. On second, we had SSCB meeting in the International Students Conference. I demanded that we should have a cultural program. Sushil Kumar said, when you are demanding, it usually happens in council. When we raise a point, we will be made in charge to see what to do the guidelines or something. As a group will be formed, and that person who raises a point will be made in charge of that. Usually. So when I raised a point that we should have a cultural program in the student activities, they immediately said, you are the person, you have to write the guidelines for how we have to do this cultural program. let me tell you, Kavita, whatever the guidelines had written, 100% it was as it is. So whatever you have performed, 100% whatever activity the FSCB, each and everything has been demonstrated here. Sujil Kumar, so the chairman said, okay, you get the guidelines, but this will be done after Bangalore conference, he said. But I'm happy that I started with the Bangalore conference. Maybe in the next meeting, the guidelines will come, and in future conference also, the students will be benefited with these type of programs. Thank you.
We now request the Bengaluru branch of MC members to facilitate the veteran Maria Captain Naveen Nagappa.
Smile, sir.
My dear friends, dignitaries, and honorable chief guest, Captain Amrit Mahotsav, and also learned many things from the sessions conducted. I would like to thank all the dignitaries on and off the dais, all the MC members, volunteers, participants, last but not the least, all the audience out there for attending and making the day one of CA Students National Conference a grand success. Furthermore, let's give a special recognition to the team who has taken care of catering, audio, and lighting and photography. I extend my gratitude to all the staff members of ICAI, Bengaluru, who have been working really hard by carrying out all the allotted duties very diligently. Thank you again, all of you. See you all tomorrow for another fantastic day with some motivation, business ideas, and subject learning. Thank you once again.
Shri Gauri to give an overview of the second day's conference. Sorry. I'll request everybody to stand up for the national anthem.
शुभ आशीष मा